rating for websites. Ireland is our #1 country. We're most highly rated in this country. And I want to thank Sean Fitzpatrick for that. Thank you, Sean, wherever you are. Barbados. Thanks again for returning this stamp, the Crash JP Morgan by Silver stamp. Look, there's too many people here now, and it will obviously get stolen, so I'm not going to do this again. But how many people stamped their bills?
How many people have bills to stamp?
That's it,
That's a good question. Exactly. So get this into circulation, because there is this revolution. Also, how many folks here have silver? They have silver on them, they have silver, they bought silver. Raise your hand. Oh wow, I don't really see many hands up. Okay. Well, anyway, you're all arrested. So this was a message from the IMF that came down and said, no precious metal-backed currency for anyone in the world. Let me tell a little story. By the way, this is Paul Barnes, who I met earlier. How you doing, Paul? He's a poet, and we're going to try to do some poetry slamming later. And I also met a student who we're going to have a theoretical conversation later. And hopefully we're going to play that film later that we made, and what David McWilliams is interviewed in the film. Did a fantastic interview. I think David McWilliams has done a fantastic job in this country, getting on TV and talking to people about the whole crisis. Would you agree? We give him a big round.
Yeah.
All right, so the whole key to, also before I get into my rolling here, in this pouch I've got some silver Keisers. We had a big demand. These are, this is the silver Keiser. Now, when the word went out, I was on Alex Jones' show on November 11th of last year, and we started this Google bomb, Crash JP Morgan buy silver. And I got contacted by these folks in Canada who said, we want to issue a silver coin as part of this rebellion. And within 2 weeks, they sold $5 million worth of these coins around the world, 170,000 ounces. They're now going into production on another coin, and there are 4 mints around the world who are producing these silver coins to support the Silver Liberation Army, the SLA. Now, of course, I got the name, came to me naturally because I remember Patty Hearst in the Sudanese Liberation Army back in the 1970s. I don't know if any of you recall that, but she was an aristocrat who got co-opted by terrorists to rob banks, and I thought, yeah, that's for me. And so SLA came natural to this movement. And at the end of this presentation, we'll be, I'm going to be giving away some of these, or we'll figure something out. And, but here's what I wanted to do, to give you an idea what there's not any speakers. I don't know if someone said there'd be other speakers. I'm pretty much it. And what I wanted to do was to look at the newspaper and look at the news as it's reported in the Financial Times, look at the news as it's reported in the Times of London, the local Irish press, and get a sense of the propaganda, what I call the financial propaganda that has totally rotted the brain for analytical thinking so that one can make an intelligent decision about these, what I call banking terrorists or financial terrorists. And I don't use the term flippantly, I don't use it lightly, because when you think about it, what are these guys up to? And who are they? Who is a Lloyd Blankfein? Who is a Jamie Dimon? These are guys, first of all, they operate under an ideology, a corrupt ideology. Lloyd Blankfein said he believes he's doing God's work. The attitude on Wall Street is that they're doing God's work. The attitude in the banking sector is that they're above the law. the attitude in the banking sector is that, yeah, they've got 30% of the revenues of the economy. They've got all these massive taxable income. But look at all the parts of the economy they've crowded out. Look at all these companies that have left the business of car manufacturing or food manufacturing and got into financialization of their underlying business, so that they're totally dependent upon the largesse of the central banking cartel, which gives them artificially cheap money at the expense of who? At the expense of us. Austerity measures? Why? Why? Food and energy prices skyrocketing? Why? Returns on investment income, pension accounts, near zero? Why? To subsidize this corrupt ideological group of financial terrorists. They're willing to blow themselves up and blow up their friends and family for a buck. They misquote Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations. They're fanatics, they're extremists, and they parse a few sentences here and there to legitimize what is essentially a scheme to defraud and bankrupt and to return this country and others to a state of medievalism, to neo-feudalism, serfs and lords. And this is obscene, and this can't really continue. And one country so far that's standing up to these terrorists is, of course, Iceland. Has been mentioned as a case study. Let's hear it for Iceland.
Yay!
All right, so let me just look at, as I said, this is a newspaper. This is the press. If you deconstruct the press, I'm going to put my glasses on to read this. But also, I thought of an interesting idea. Let's see, who's in the audience here? This gentleman. This is a bottle of soap bubbles. What I'd like you to do is just, you'll be the bubble machine. Okay, so just gently keep a nice breeze of bubbles wafting through the auditorium. Okay? You're doing a good job. Doing good, very good. Big hand for the bubble blower. Yes, fantastic. What's your name, sir? Luke. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, a little higher. Now, before I start, I want to digress a bit. I was in London. I was in a restaurant, and I've been going to this restaurant for years. And I finally noticed on the table was this little thing called Street Smart. I opened it up. It turns out for the 4 years I've been going to this club, this restaurant, they've been charging an extra euro on my bill to feed the homeless. Did I notice? No. There are $700 trillion in derivatives on the books of various banks. The Forex market, the foreign exchange market, is $4 trillion a day. If you put a 0.5% fee on that business, would any of the bankers in the world notice?
No.
Would any of the... I got a heckler already. That's fantastic. What was that?
No, he said that they just lose their nails. They wouldn't lose their hair.
Yeah, exactly. So, would they notice? Absolutely not. This is a common myth and part of the common rebuke you hear. And I'm supposed to be on actually television here tonight at 11 o'clock live on one of your state television programs talking about this. Okay, fantastic. And I'm going to be on a panel speaking on this very topic. So this is, again, part of the... But the message that comes down to us is completely propagandized. So let's take a look at this. Let's take a look as an example. This is just today's Financial Times. And you look at this, and it's quite shocking. It's like those CSI shows, CSI Miami. They have the medical examiner. They got some poor schlub on the table, their guts hanging out. medical examiner's like, oh yeah, their femurs went through their brain and the car then crashed into the family, and Horatio's there, I'm gonna kill them. Somebody's gonna get hurt. But they take it very casually. You see the guts, spilling out on the table. If you look at the Financial Times here, the guts of this fraud are right here in the paper every day. All right. Here's a hang up over naked short selling. This is in the paper. This is in the paper. Nobody questions this. Some EU countries are unhappy about planned severe restrictions. European Union legislation on short selling and naked short selling tabled by the Commission last September and subsequently stiffened by the European Parliament is now held up to the Council of EU national ministers have failed so far to agree to their own compromise. The sticking point comes from a minority bloc of countries where their main worry concerns uncovered short selling or naked short selling, particularly of sovereign bonds. What is naked short selling?
Counterfeiting.
It's counterfeiting. You're selling something that does not exist. If you're shorting a security, you're borrowing that security and you're selling it. And there's room for shorting securities because it's the natural counterpart to buying on margin, which is leverage buying. If you don't have a natural counterpart to that, which would be short selling, which by definition occurs in a margin account, there would be some asymmetry in the market, and the price discovery would be lopsided, and markets as we know them would not function as well. But naked short selling is a bank, like a JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs or any of the other crooks and terrorists, and they sell into the marketplace, into the floor of the exchange, a security that does not exist. It has no CUSIP number. It has no basis of existence. It has no collateral. It's merely a fictitious in the mind of a quant sitting in the back room of a bank eating a cheeseburger and figuring out how to get laid that night. Unsuccessful again, but let's sell some more securities short naked. There's nothing absolutely to this sale. So the fact that counterfeiting is effectively legalized, condoned, and talked about openly in the Financial Times as well, the minority bloc feels that counterfeiting is bad. How many people in this room think counterfeiting is bad for an economy? Raise your hand. All right.